Hey, everybody! Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill for your entertainment.
Hey, we're back, doing a daytime kind of episode. Well, it's around before 6, so it's all right. We just wanted to get it out there for you fans out there that demanded it.
It's summertime. We want the sun in. We want to enjoy the rays as we talk about buddy action comedies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Right on. Well, what you been up to lately, Lucas?
Not much. First, per a fan request, what are you
Mhm.
drinking right now?
I am drinking Obsidian Stout from Bend, Oregon.
Cool. I am drinking Santan Moon Juice.
Mhm.
It's a IPA that
Cool.
I've only found here in Tempe, Arizona. I'm sure it's other places. Well, Santan's in there, so
Anything with the moon juice, I'm sure, is wonderful.
it's like 7.3% alcohol. It's big. And
You sound like Kramer. It's big,
I haven't had an IPA in a while because I was gaining weight, so I quit IPA. So it's my first.
Mhm.
And what have you been drinking recently? What's your drinking habits recently?
Drink habits recently. I usually just do like some, whiskey or beer, maybe throw in a white claw or two if I'm feeling a little frisky. But I don't really get into people's alcohol stuff because I'm a bottom shelf guy. I don't make a lot of money, so I've also been a bartender for a long time. So people that are very fussy about their drinks or want to go off about what they drink, I don't give a shit. So whatever.
No, I was talking more about your habits. Yeah. Also, I've talked to career bartenders like order bottom shelf. You're wasting money,
Yeah.
especially if you're pouring it in other things like mixed
Oh
drinks.
yeah, if you get like a top shelf whiskey and put Coke in there, you're an idiot. So and also people are just very fussy about being sophisticated about their drinks, bragging. It's like I'm not impressed. So yeah, I mean we can but I'm happy to do it. Whatever our fans demand, I'll I'll go along with it. I'm that much of a pushover.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that appeased our fan.
So, well, I had a birthday weekend week or two ago. We have Megan rented out the theater here to show the good, the bad, the ugly. Had a pretty decent turnout. About 30 people showed up.
That's good.
That was fun. That was cool to see that on the big screen. Never seen on the big screen before. So yeah.
No, no, that doesn't sound like a lot, but for a small town, that's a lot for an old movie. Like that's a great turnout.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've gone to the movies a couple times last couple weeks. I saw like The Fall Guy, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I'd say there was maybe 10 or less people in the theater for those movies.
Big
Granted,
movie.
mine was a free movie. We're charging admission, but still.
But you had a good time.
Yeah, it was a real good time. It was fun.
Did you give a speech before the movie?
No, Megan did though. She
Oh,
gave a
really?
got everyone to sing me happy birthday too, which I liked, but I also in those situations, I'm not a big fan of like surprise parties or that kind of attention. But that was really nice, and I know she's not a big like public speaker, so that was really sweet of her.
That's really nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds lovely.
yeah. Let's see. Have you seen anything recently besides the movie we're covering today? Should we mention the movie we're covering?
How are
Yeah,
you, Lucas? What have you been up to?
I just asked you how you were doing a little bit ago. You didn't really say much.
Try again.
Okay, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
I'm fine. Let's move on to what we watched.
Okay. This
Uh,
week, we're covering. Oh, you want to say it?
yeah, we're covering loose cannons.
Hmm.
Gene Hackman, Dan Aykroyd,
Huh?
and Dom DeLuise.
Well, there's a bunch of actors in it, but the buddies are Dan Aykroyd, Gene Hackman, TriStar Pictures, 1990, directed by Bob Clark. Good
Before
old Bob Clark.
let's talk about what we watched. You've been talking for too much now. I
Okay,
watched
what'd you watch, Lucas?
-1. I want to mention that. Have you watched that yet?
Mm,
It tore up the box office randomly.
mhm. Yeah.
It's a very cool Godzilla movie. I did not like the very end of it, and it
Uh-huh.
undercut what I like for the first two thirds of the movie. I was like, this is why this movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And the climax, I was like, nah.
No,
But still, cool movie. Cool, good, very good Godzilla movie.
couldn't stick the landing, but overall, not bad. Yeah, won the Oscar for special effects too. A Godzilla movie, which was like everyone thought those were jokes for a while. Like, oh, this stupid rubber suit.
And you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna be like, because Godzilla in this isn't like the Godzilla in the
Hmm.
Hollywood versions. He still
CGI. Yeah.
walks like this, like for a long. extended times. You know, like,
Yeah.
this is just a fucking Godzilla movie. But on the budget they had, these special effects are amazing because they had no budget.
Well, that's good. You see anything else?
The other one I want to talk about is The Big Heat. Have you seen that?
Humphrey Bogart?
No.
The Big Heat? What am I thinking of? The Big Sleep. Oh, what's the Big Heat?
Glenn Ford, 1953. It's it's a cool movie. It's about a detective or a cop who goes up against, organized crime or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't want to spoil too much about it because you should watch it. It's a really cool fucking movie, but there are sometimes these old movies surprise you with how violent they can be.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they'll never kill off the dog. And like, they kill off the dog. You're like, Jesus Christ. They don't kill off a dog in this movie, but I don't want to spoil. I was pretty surprised, like, by some of the horrible violence. Lee Marvin's in it. Young Lee Marvin plays one of the antagonists.
Lee Marvin. Yeah. Check it out. The Big Heat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of the big something, big. Yeah, they get a little confusing, but I'll try to remember that one.
Well, you can always text me if you get lost.
Yeah, thank you. That's what Letterboxd is for too. Yeah, the two ones I saw, Fall Guy. Fall Guy was okay. Summer movie season kind of starting already, and I was didn't like as much as I thought I would. Very cutesy, very wink wink, very there's a lot of heavy romance for a movie about stuntmen and stuff, but still it's breezy, it's likable. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, good, solid. Apes, those are usually always decent. This one's good. Nothing you haven't really seen before, but I really liked the CGI acting and characters were great. So those are two new movies at the theaters near you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for both of those. Fall Guys from the same guy who did Bullet Train, right? Yeah, and I thought
he was Brad Pitt's stuntman for a long time, and then
the John Wick, the first John Wick, right, or something like that.
Yeah, and the movie's dedicated to stuntmen, and I know he's worked with a stuntman. I don't know what happened, but he also directed Deadpool 2, where a stunt person was killed. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but it's not a good look when you're killing your stuntmen.
Maybe you have an enemy inside the gates.
Yeah.
And from the trailer, I haven't seen it, but Fall Guy, I was like, this is going to be like Bullet Train, where it's just too cutesy for my taste. Like, it just, everybody's winking at the camera. Nothing, the stakes aren't real because none of the characters are taking the movie seriously. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. It's a bit like that. Yeah. It's just kind of, I don't know. I should have been more into it than I was, I guess.
I'm sure it's entertaining. Bullet Train was entertaining, but I didn't like it.
I have a little anecdote I was going to share with you. Something happened at work recently. I was going to wait till off air, but thought, hey, maybe I'll share it on air.
Okay,
we'll share it here. I'll try to keep
it
short.
Funeral.
Yeah. See your thoughts on it. So this guy I work with is a cook. He's recently broke up from his 8-9 year relationship. He had to move out to a motel. He's got a 7-year-old kid and stuff. But he's he works in the kitchen. He posted this 2-page long things I need, like a dresser, all this stuff, paper towels, and I guess he spent, a lot of money moving into this new motel for the month or whatever. And, but he said, I need this, I need all this stuff. If anyone could donate, let me know. And, the next, so I came out to him that day. I was like, what do you need right now? He's like, well, I really need the groceries for my son, because he's staying over this weekend. I don't have any groceries. So I went to the store and I got mac and cheese, bread, peanut butter and jelly, some frozen, pizzas or something. And I, dropped off his place. He was like, oh, hey, thanks. Really appreciate it, man. That's super cool. So okay, great. Then the next day he was like, guess what? I met somebody online, this dude in Canada. So I'm buying a plane ticket to go, fuck this dude up in Canada. I was like, well, how do you afford a plane ticket to go fuck some dude up in Canada? When I'm buying groceries for your kid. What do you think about that?
This is a homosexual man, I take it, or
I think that was part of the breakup. I think he might have revealed that. Yeah, that his gal was not too pleased.
I think you have a right to be upset, but you also can't do something that is selfless and go hey, what about all my shit? I need my shit back.
No, but I told Megan about it. She was like, that night after I dropped out the food, she's like, why didn't you just go to a food bank or something? Is it kind of lazy just to go up to your coworkers who probably aren't rich either. Just be like, hey guys, here's all the things I need. Just buy them. She's like, I've been a single mom. I've had to do shit like that, but it was just kind of, I need food for my kid who's, coming over this week. And then next day, guess what? I got a plane ticket to Canada to fuck some guy I met online. Aren't you happy for me?
Kenny, there's a sucker born every day.
And that suckers.
But in 1982, they got a plum one.
Yeah. Hey,
right up the street. Yeah.
You can always hit me up for groceries for your child if you want to go fuck a dude in Canada, I guess.
You don't know how hot the dude is. You don't know. Like, that could be a big thing,
I don't know. I don't care. It's not he can be flying anywhere, but still, it was just like, how do you have money for a plane ticket? What the fuck?
Canadian dude's really fucking primo piece of meat,
I wouldn't know, but hey, I'm happy that Shane is out there meeting new people and being himself, and that's great. But don't hit me up for money if you're gonna buy a fucking plane ticket to Canada.
I think for you, lesson learned, you're not going to give this guy money anymore.
No, yeah,
they go have gay sex up in Canada,
Yeah.
Some lessons are more expensive than others. This one just cost you some macaroni and cheese and some frozen pizzas. I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, it wasn't like I broke the bank or anything, but still, it was.
You have a very altruistic nature. I don't buy into it. I think it's like you trying to
cover like my own
sociopath,
just doing a random nice thing every once in a while, and then I can I'm a good person, but deep down I know.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit. I live with you. All right, you want to get into loose cannons?
Right, loose cannons. Here we go, baby. All right. Well, loose cannons. What'd you think of loose cannons overall?
First, let's get the plot summary. We haven't even done that.
Oh, you want to do the plot?
Sure. A tape or reel or film of Hitler with some Nazi youths who have some current political power in the modern day United States, modern day being 1988 when the film was shot, has been unearthed, and it's up to a detective and someone who has personality disassociative personality, whatever the fuck.
Why are you saying all this stuff like it's a question?
What? Why are
you saying all this stuff like it's a question? There's a guy with personality.
Because I'm trying to fucking think, dude. God, fucking hell. Do you want to do it? You do it.
Sure. Buddy cops. One of them has a multiple personality disorder, and
that's not what he has. He doesn't have multiple personality disorder. You don't even pay attention.
He doesn't. What does he have?
He has, as I was trying to say, and while I was looking up and thinking.
Are you Googling it now?
Dissociative identity disorder.
Well, a lot of psychologists think that's bunk now. They don't believe any of that shit.
No, in the movie, they call it multiple personality disorder. Now it's been categorized in the modern times as dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah, but a lot of psychologists don't even think it's a real thing.
Any fucking research before this podcast?
Yeah, it's not a lot of psychologists don't think that's a real fucking thing. It's just people fucking around. Anyway, very good plot synopsis.
Wait, hold on. You think actually a lot of psychologists think this is a bunch of people fucking around?
They do, yeah. It's do you think people really have like personality disorder? Like I'm Queen of England. Oh no, I'm Bugs Bunny. Do you think that's a real like mental condition?
There can be, but I don't think
they can be. Okay,
that's just people fucking around.
They are.
They're just having a good time.
Yeah. Someone claimed this was a thing, and then people that are highly, susceptible or want to do that, like people get hypnotized, they'll just say, "I have that too," and they'll just make shit up.
What'd you think of Loose Cannons, you fucking psycho?
Fucking psycho? What's your fucking problem? Just because you think you know everything about psychology? Jesus Christ, who's the fucking psycho now, man?
Why don't you go buy some gay guy more food for his kids? Better not you being a sociopath.
You just told me not to. You're contradicting yourself now. You're all over the map.
What did you think about Loose Cannons?
Loose Cannons. Well,
just
overall, in general, I mean, it's bad. Pretty bad. Not going to really defend it, but I will say though that it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it would be, because I thought it was going to be like Cop Out bad.
Oh yeah.
Like so it's not, because that was what the like reviews were at the time and shit. Like worst of the year. It's got like a 4.9 on IMDb. So I thought it was going to be really fucking bad. And it was bad, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be. How about you?
No, I agree. I mean, it was bad. It's a
Yeah.
weird, fucking bad movie, but it was nowhere near. When I saw the IMDb rating, I was kind of confused too. I would have
Mhm.
expected lower six range.
Yeah.
People fucking hate
Maybe
this
high five.
movie,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, Cop Out might be the worst movie we've had to review, unless I'm missing
I
one.
think that was like a 5.9 or something. Yeah.
God
So
awful movie. This movie isn't nearly as bad as that.
no.
Would I ever suggest it to anybody?
Uh,
No, unless
no.
you're Dan Aykroyd or Gene Hackman completionists.
If you're a real big buddy comedy action fan, or like you said, Gene Hackman, Dan Aykroyd, completionist, yeah, sure. But other than that, it does. There's a lot. It's pretty sloppy, pretty messy. I mean, like the opening scene, I felt like there was a scene before that they just cut out and they just cut right into the middle. Like we're in the middle of a scene, and I don't know what. Like, there's this boat driving around with all these people dressed as Alice in Wonderland in it. There's a guy in a fog talking. You're like, what the fuck is any of this? So I'm sure there was stuff before that.
And here's the problem with the movie, and it starts. It's because you're just like discombobulated the entire time until like
Yeah.
halfway through the movie. They should have established. They had him as so Dan Aykroyd will fracture into different personalities. His
Mm.
personalities are just pop culture, fucking like cartoons and actors and shit, which is
Yeah.
stupid. And but anyway, they could have grounded that first. We could have learned that about him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gets thrown into a murder investigation, and then
Yeah.
we know what's at stake and what the comedic set pieces are. Instead, we don't
Right.
learn that about him. We learn he's crazy, and
Well,
then
there's
he
like
starts doing it randomly, and you're like, this isn't working at all because no one knows the stakes. No one knows what's going on. Very confusing movie.
even though multiple personality disorder is not a real thing. I will say though that if you went with it, if you go with it, okay, let's just go with it.
It's not
And
multiple personality disorder.
whatever, I don't. What do they change the name to? You're the same
They
fucking thing.
didn't
Anyway,
change the name.
whatever. What PC name they're going by now? Whatever. Anyway, it's not a
Dissociative
real. It's not a real
identity.
thing. Let's just say
Dissociative
it.
identity disorder.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Uh,
God.
yeah,
Anyway,
aliens built the
that's still not
pyramids,
a,
but
that's still
this
not a real
doesn't
thing.
exist, right?
And just doing like fucking like Nate, just doing old like I'm Bugs Bunny and now I'm Roadrunner. I'm Cowardly Lion. I'm just doing like he's just doing like old impressions, and that's like they could have done something with that. They could have made it more interesting.
Exactly. They could have explored that issue. They could have gone into that and delved into it. It would have been way more interesting than him just randomly turning into the Cowardly Lion from Wizard
Yeah.
of Oz. Like it's not funny. It's dated.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me up to one of my major questions I wanted to tackle here.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd funny?
Is Dan Aykroyd funny? Well, he's certainly not in this movie. In fact, I think this might be the worst character. I think, or like lead. I think we've seen some worse movies.
Because he's the
But
comedic thrust. Like this is his movie, basically.
yeah, this is his movie, his time, and Gene Hackman's always watchable, but I think he kind of gets out of this movie unscathed because he's just kind of there, just kind of reacting and not have to do much. But Dan Aykroyd's going big, and he's failing pretty big in this one. Yeah, it's a terrible character, terrible take on it. Could have been the director's fault too, but I don't know. But yeah, it was bad. But is
No,
Dan
at some
Aykroyd funny
point,
in general? I don't know.
no. Here's what I think. I think Dan
Mhm.
Aykroyd's very talented.
Yeah,
I don't think he's that funny. Like he's funny in roles because he can act
yeah,
and he can do
right.
a lot of different things, but is he can't carry anything. What
He's
movies has he ever carried by himself?
well,
Absolutely.
he's a great secondary character
Yeah,
to Bill
exactly.
Murray or Chevy Chase or something.
Exactly.
But like, yeah, but as far
That's
as
what I'm saying. He can't carry anything himself.
his solo movies like Dr. Detroit and The Couch Trip, and where it's like, and this one, like starring Dan Aykroyd, it's just not.
Nothing but
Yeah.
trouble. He's kind of the comedic force in that movie.
Well, he was the writer direct. That was his total baby on that one, and yeah, that was that. If you want to see a pure Dan Aykroyd movie, I think that's it. But yeah, this one, and I think the studio could tell. There's one of those like they shot it like 2 years before, and then they finally
Yeah.
released it. But having said that, I mean, there are some decent action stuff. I wasn't bored really in it. It's 90 minutes. I mean, there's some okay stuff like the train sequence. A lot of stuff's like we've seen it all before, but it's just not. It's not shot badly or like it's staged or edited. It's fine. But yeah, it just the bar scene when he goes in the bar. Like how many fucking times have we seen this? This is like that just that was terrible.
Like they were trying to do with the Eddie Murphy from 48 Hours.
I thought that too. Yeah.
And also like which is common for these older buddy comedy movies, where like it's a BDSM or whatever bar. So of course they're fucking criminals and dickheads and like
line balls. Yeah, just sickos. Yeah.
like they enjoy their kink, you know. Do you notice the guy from Coach in it?
I did. I was like, what are that guy? Oh, that guy looks like that's that guy from Coach. Yeah, there's like the doofy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was in like the big series of Stand too. But I recognize. I don't know what his name is, but I recognize him.
Yeah, but yeah, it took me a few seconds to recognize him. Let me go to my notes here. Every time an opening credit starts and Dom DeLuise is the third billing, it's a bad sign. I know you love all those fucking movies.
The Burt movies?
Yeah,
I think he's putting in a couple of them, but when it gets to like the Cannonball Run stuff, or that it's like, oh Jesus, here's Dom DeLuise, and they really let him go in those late period Burt Reynolds stuff, and good God, it is yeah.
You know what he's like? It's like this is what a jock would find funny, and that's what the girls found funny, and he's like, oh, put him in, and then just dickhead to him the entire time.
Yeah, just insults him the whole time and just throws stuff at him, slaps him, or like you can see him literally getting slapped a lot, and he's doing his did that kind of stuff, and I don't get it. Maybe in person he was hilarious. I don't know.
I'm sure he was. He's probably big, animated. Comedy has a short shelf life, but I don't get the Dom DeLuise thing.
Well, he certainly doesn't do well in this one, and a lot of his shtick was just repeating the last person's line or something. Like that. Like it didn't have anything really fun. That never really made me laugh. I don't think this movie.
The movie lost me because for the most part it's relatively grounded in reality, and then they're in the chase or whatever, and the villains bring out a rocket launcher. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh yeah, it's like the BMW, and like is through the sunroof or whatever. Just like, just a rocket launch. That won't very discreet, very just.
It just so cartoonish, and it's not like I'm an expert in weapons or criminals or anything, but I know that rocket launchers are very hard to operate, and you really don't want to do them out of a moving car sitting.
I don't think the filmmakers cared at all about what the hell was going on, but yeah, the whole thing just seemed really sloppy. Now, Bob Clark, the director, I mean, he's had a very hit or miss career. He started out doing like the Black Christmas, kind of a cult horror movie classic, and then Porky's, which was like a boner comedy in the 80s. It was like the highest grossing Canadian movie ever.
Created genre, Porky's.
Yeah. And then like Christmas Story, an all-time Christmas classic now, hands down. But then did like Rhinestone, which I've never seen, but I'm curious to see, and like Baby Geniuses.
Rhinestone. I mean, it's bad.
Really?
Funny bad, yeah.
Bad, funny bad. Okay, and so he's had a pretty spotty directing filmography, but this one was not a good entry on that one.
I thought when they were talking about Hitler and the tape and stuff, and they're saying other young Hitler youths, I thought it was going to be a Hitler sex tape with him being homosexual.
Wasn't it?
No, it was just him him getting killed. Remember?
Yeah, but I thought that was like that's how they spun it. But the guys were like blowing him, and they bent down, but they're like, "See, this guy's bowing to him."
I don't know. I think that's maybe what you wanted to think.
Maybe, but I think that's what it is. I think that's like what they did. They tried to spin it like it wasn't a sex tape, just the public.
No, because at the end they show him get blown away. They like hand the gun, and not in the way you're hoping. They show like the guy shoot him in the head.
Well, why didn't they just make it a sex tape then?
I don't know. Can you say this over every movie we ever talk about?
Yeah.
Hey, how miscast and out of place and unnecessary was Nancy Travis in this movie?
Very weird, playing an Israeli army or special secret service or whatever person. Like that was just terrible casting. Yeah, not the Jewish type. I don't think.
No, it's not. I don't want to get into this with you.
Why not? Go for it. Why are you backing down? Why are you so scared?
I'm not scared. I just want to keep you in my friend circle, and sometimes when stuff like Judaism comes up, it makes it difficult to.
You're scared to talk. You're scared to express your feelings.
I just think her. Okay, yeah, I just think her accent sucked, and she's just completely miscast. Like, why is she even in this fucking movie?
Well, Robert Prosky gets a big like credit at the beginning, like and Robert Prosky. He's like in it for less than a minute. He's off camera mostly for this one little like interview segment where he's on TV as the guy, and then he's like the end. They show him on TV just getting upset. And that's it. Like I just watched him again in the we just watched Thief recently again with James Caan, and he's the bad guy in that. And I thought I was like, well, he's a really good actor. And then he's building this, and he is barely in it. Like yeah. So I don't know why give him the big billing at the beginning, like and Robert Prosky, and not having he's not even in it.
Can we go down a cul-de-sac on Thief? Because I watched it a couple of years ago and I thought it was incredibly boring. Did you like it?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it's a really good movie.
Michael Mann, he directed Thief, right?
Yeah.
He's such a cool director. It's really hard for most of his movies for me to connect with them because there's like no emotion in them.
Yeah, they're pretty cold.
And my friend who's worked with them on Black Hat said he might be a sociopath, and and that makes sense because you look at his filmography. It's like a lot of his movies are really hard to connect with. Like,
yeah, they're cool though. They look great.
Yeah, cool. No, Heat's great, but even like watching Heat, like Robert De Niro and his connection with his
not much emotion.
Just no emotion. It's just like I don't buy any of this,
Well, that's the kind of Michael Mann stamp, it's cold, dead.
Here's what I hated about Dan Aykroyd.
Okay.
His character. Yeah. It reminded me of the end of the Explorers with the aliens who just do different pop culture references constantly.
Show lines and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, it's like they could have done something with it, like give him this personality, like that movie Multiplicity, where Michael Keaton had all those different versions of himself, different personalities. They could have had this is his psycho character, this is his this character, but he's just doing old movie lines and TV lines and characters. It's like he's just quoting, they're doing limitations. It's lame.
I think you're onto something where they missed out. Like when he first does his English character, which he like, never does again. Like that should be a character, and we should see an arc for that character, even though it's just part of his personality. He
could have done something with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything other than nothing. And so
nothing, or have him just do shtick, just do your shtick of like stuff. Yeah, that kills the movie pretty bad, even though it didn't have a lot going for it really to begin with. But did you hear about that thing in Canada in Calgary where that guy found this old film reel like 10 years ago, and he looked at it, there was like a murder scene, so he turned it into the cops, and then when the cops saw a photo of Dan Aykroyd in there, and it was actually someone just throwing away an old like reel of loose cannons or put in a shed, and forgot about it. But yeah, they asked Dan Aykroyd, or Dan Aykroyd commented on it when they did it on TMZ. And he said that they should have just left that movie fucking buried. Like it's don't never bring it back up. So I think Dan Aykroyd's
but I think Dan Aykroyd should have tried harder in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean it was late '80s. It's not like it was the cocaine heyday. He had time to focus and do something. Anyway, I also hate the. We've talked about this before in other movies. That his character arc is violence is the answer, like I kill him. Hey, I'm a hero. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, I can kill again. You've given me a reason to live. Yeah, that's so stupid. Like it's in a bunch of fucking these dumb movies, but yeah.
This had probably the worst punchline. Is punchline even the word? Guess what? This is at the end of the movie. Guess what? Humpty Dumpty is back on the wall.
Whoa! Right before he blows him away. Yeah, it's such a stupid before the kill line. There's a lot of lines like that, or they just like they're going too fast, or the guy would just repeat loudly with the last comment. It's kind of they do that now as like seriously, really? It's kind of like that kind of shit.
Yeah, I hate all that. And then a lot of easy fat jokes.
Sure, at Dom DeLuise's expense, I'm sure.
Yeah, 90% of the time.
Other thing that bugged me about that, when he shoots the bad guy at the end, he falls. He hits this fruit stand, but he just kind of lands in the fruit. I expected the fruit to like explode and go everywhere and crash, but it's kind of just like. the technicians not know that stand was supposed to make the fruit go flying, explode, or why have him land a fruit cart if it's not going to go anywhere?
I don't know. I'm guessing that by that point, most people had given up on the movie.
Probably like fuck this. Who cares?
Some producer like you were probably like, we need the fruit to explode, and some executive was like, don't worry about the fruit. Just
have him land. Let's get this over with. Let's all go. Let's bury this movie. Hopefully,
look, 3 people are getting fired for this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Just rein it in.
Yeah.
You have any other notes?
Just Gene LaBelle. He shows up as one of the henchmen. He was actually the taxi driver in Rush Hour a couple weeks ago. He's kind of a fight legend guy. He stuntman, worked 1,000 things. He was that scene in Once Upon a Time in America, or sorry, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and Bruce Lee. That's loosely based on a story. Gene LaBelle was the Brad Pitt character in that. He's got lots of these, like, there's lots of crazy Gene LaBelle stories, but he's like a UFC trainer, or was for a while. I think he died a little while ago. But yeah, he's basically a big fight legend.
And he fought, according to legend, he fought Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, there's a lot of urban legend about him strangling Steven Seagal until Steven Seagal pissed or shit himself. Lots of stories about Gene LaBelle, yeah. But he's actually pops up at this end of his tag show. So yeah, hey, there he is again. So
good. That's a good pull.
Yeah.
What did you think of this movie?
Like, what would I rate it? Give it about 2, maybe 2.5 if I'm feeling generous or whatever. Yeah, it's bad, and Dan Aykroyd's character is terrible. The whole movie kind of rests on that, and it doesn't work at all. But I will say I didn't hate it, and it wasn't boring, and it's not the worst movie we've covered on here by far.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-star movie, 2.5-star buddy comedy. Look, it's got Gene Hackman,
Always watchable.
Yeah. He carries any movies, one of my favorite actors.
He's not really given a character, though, in this. I mean, the only thing they do with him is like give him that he got kicked out by his wife. But that's in so many of these fucking things. He doesn't really have much to go work with.
And like, they don't even show that. The movie is so coy about its like plot points and character motivations, not showing what Dan Aykroyd's character is capable of before putting him into the shit,
Yeah.
He's living out of his car, Gene Hackman, but not showing that he's going through a divorce. So there's no emotional connection to any of these characters or anything they're doing. There's no comedic set pieces. The action sucks. It's mostly running around and driving.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate this show.
You hate this show right here that we're doing?
Yeah.
Wow. I like it, so I guess we'll keep doing it then.
All right.
All right, what are we doing next time?
I haven't decided. What do you want to do?
Well, I was looking at the list of trailers. There's a bunch of I couldn't believe like how many ones there still are that we haven't covered yet.
First, there's so many. But first, we're gonna do I go to town for a week at the end of or the first week of June.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our next one will be Bad Boys 4.
Bad Boys Ride or Die, I think is the
but I won't be able to be back in town. I won't be able to watch it the weekend of, but I will be back in town and watch it that Monday or Tuesday night, and then we'll do it.
Yeah, I got some big buddy action comedy movies coming out this summer. I got Bad Boys 4, Deadpool, Wolverine. It's going to be a big buddy action comedy summer.
We're going to go mainstream, Deadpool, Wolverine. I'll be in San Diego, but I want to watch it the night it releases, and I want to do the fucking podcast the day after.
All right.
We've been practicing. How many episodes is this?
Time for the big time, baby. Time for the spaceship. Here we go. We're going to hit that 1,000 viewers sometime.
So where are we? I know you don't want to talk about this, but this was a really Israeli focused movie. It was really about Israel and how they were handling. Naturally, it was only 40 post years after World War II. So it was a different climate. Earlier we touched on it and we had to cut you short. I'm not going to cut short. I want to hear your opinion. Like, let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on this Israeli, Gaza, Palestinian, Hamas situation in the Middle East?
Well, what I think is
no, my hands are up.
My hands are up. I think what's going on in Gaza. Palestine's getting the shit kicked out of them, and it's terrible. Thousands and thousands of people are dying. Israel, they've been attacked by these neighbors so many times. They're sick of it after October 7th, so they're starting a war with them. I mean, war is hell. It sucks. It's basically my take on it. What's your take?
how do you